Piriva Sharanam. Shastras not bound by science, Part 2. The modern science, which had not known many earlier truths, has now started to praise the many acharas which it ridiculed earlier, as more and more facts are coming to be revealed to it every day. The educated people have come to assert that it is bad to have bed coffee without brushing the teeth, be without bathing daily, and to wear tight clothes covering the body. All these are not suited to the climatic conditions in our country. These practices also affect our digestive powers as ascertained by the neo-educationalist. They warn about the occurrence of many diseases by doing all the above. We should at no time forget the fact that our Shastras are there not only to ward off diseases, they are there to give us punya, to drive away the diseases which come to us due to our karmas. The Shastras are sacred and holy medicine. If our achara is there only for reasons of health and hygiene, we will think of leaving an achara if it is harmful to our hygiene. We have the Snana Achara after visiting a place which is congested with people of all kinds, including those who have contagious diseases. But there is an exception for this Achara rule. Our Shastras say that we should not bathe after coming home from a Rathotsava, though we come into contact in body with people of all sorts. This rule will clash with our science of hygiene. There are such stipulations like this in our Shastras. We should bath in the temple tank though it is dirty. However dirty, we should sprinkle on us the waters from the feet of the great Mahant, and we should roll bodily on the leaves where the saints and great Bhagavatas had their food. Such things may not be our relish, as they may not conform to the norms of health and hygiene, and we may tend to discard such acharas as they are against our rules of health and hygiene. But we must take to our mind firmly that acharas are meant only for the acquiring of punya, and this element of punya will not come under our science and intellect, which is very limited. We should not have too much of body contact with others. We should not eat anything in a house where someone is dead. We should bathe to remove the pollution and wash all our clothes and dry them. All these rules are given in our Shastras. That these practices are very helpful to prevent the spreading of many diseases is verily confirmed and praised by one Dr. King IMS, who was the sanitary commissioner and who belonged to the All India Medical Services. He has said all this from the little knowledge he had about the physical genes, bacteria and viruses in his days, and he has praised these above stipulations very much. But in later days, with the advancements made in the field of psychology and parapsychology, it has been established that there are individual differences between man and man based on thoughts and qualities, and these create different waves or aura among men, and if in the name of equality of status people mingle too much with others, their individual growth will be affected. That is why it is said in our Shastras that a man should not wear the clothes of others, use the bed of others, and should not drink in the vessel used by others. All these stipulations are made only to preserve and conserve the personal magnetism, that is, the mental powers of the individual man. We speak of the menstruation in women. The women are kept separate due to physical impurity. Not only that there is physical impurity which is visible, there is also an invisible impurity, that is pollution, which is not seen, that is invisible. This is a matter of papa and punya. It is said that the papa, that is the sin of Indra due to Brahmahati, that is killing of a Brahmin, has descended on the women, and that sin goes from the woman in the form of bleeding during the days of menstruation. This sin in them will be visible even through the aura waves. It is for this reason women are kept aloof during the menses days. We are told to wear our dhotis with kacha. For this, it is said that if the ends of the vastra or dhoti are left to be seen outside, the mental powers of the wearer slip down through those ends. By tugging the ends into the body as panchakacha, the escape of the mental power of the individual is prevented. That is why we find that the Muslims stitch the ends of their clothes and they make it as kaili or saram. This has been written by a modern scientist. Now that the inner meanings of many of our acharas are revealed to us day by day, we must also accept the other rules of Shastras, the meanings of which we do not know at present, and all those truths which may not be explained scientifically at any time in future. We Hindus worship the river Ganges. What is sacred in it? This is not because that she is the curer of diseases. The bathing in Ganges cleanses our sins and she releases us from the cycle of births in this samsara. The concept of papa or punya, samsara or moksha, and nirakara, all these will not come into the theory of the scientists nor into the test tubes in the laboratories like the bacteria or viruses. If we understand this fact, we will not think that the defect in a thing will vanish by simply doing a parihara or physical cure. Nowadays, a new metal called stainless steel, refined from iron, is widely used. From the lamps, that is the deepam, to the kalashams in temples, this metal, that is the stainless steel, is made use of. Those who are following the Shastras banned the use of iron utensils for doing the Homa karmas. But at present, they too have begun to make use of vessels and utensils made of stainless steel. The reason for excluding of iron from holy karmas is merely because it gets rust. But all the more, iron, when it is refined and converted into stainless steel, it does not get rust and there will be no harm from it from the health point of view. There is no health hazard in using this. It is said that the metal iron can be used in its refined form of stainless steel. The Shastras banned the use of iron not merely for this rusting nature. They banned it because using iron was considered sinful. It will bring evil to us as they carry the powers of the angry planet like Saturn. Simply by refining the iron into stainless steel, this blemish or defect will not vanish from it. The Homa dravyas such as cow dung, cakes and sticks, that is the samits, have the power to drive away the devilish energy and bring about divine powers. That is why we cannot use any stronger chemicals in the place of cow dung cakes and samits and perform the homas. The cow does a lot of help to humanity with its gift of milk, ghee, curd, cow dung and urine. All these are mixed to make out a potion called Panchagavya, and it is administered to people to purify them from pollution. This Panchagavya is a very important ingredient in the performance of Punyaka Vachanam or Siddhi Karmas. This is done not simply for the physical purity, but for the purification of the inner self, that is the soul also. When we take the Panchagavya with chanting the proper mantras, it gives greater effect and purity improves. The Panchagavya is connected with the ritual Punyaha Vachanam, and this is a point to be taken note of. Our ancient rishis and sages and our great ancestors have known many intricate and inexplicable things in the sciences of physics, chemistry, medicine, and psychology when there were no laboratories or other instruments and appliances as are available now. How was this possible for them? It really baffles our imagination. It was possible for them only by their mental powers, which they had got as gifts of God. Being pleased with their external penances and niyamas, God had given them the knowledge about many things which will not come under any of the sciences. It is also possible that they had known these things, that is, the matters, instinctively or even better with their intuition. Instinct is the inner feeling, and intuition is the power of visualizing the inner satyas. Thus, our ancient people have known many things beyond our so called modern sciences, and we must accept as truth what our ancients have given us. These ancient seers had attained siddhi by adhering to more niyamas and doing more tapas or penances. In what they have said with utmost wisdom or jnana, there are ideas which are a wonder to the modern scientist and those that cannot be accepted in the sciences. There are things which can be comprehended with our intellect and also matters which appear as superstition as they do not appeal to our mind. What our intellect or brain has understood after so many researches and with so many instruments, our ancient people had known quite easily and with greater ease. From this, we must understand that God's mysteries do not end up with the researches of our brain or intellect. Not to believe or have faith in the sayings of those ancient men who had exploded and unraveled these mysteries will be our superstition. This is because we rely too much on our limited intellect and knowledge, and we must understand that our overconfidence about our intellect is itself a superstition. Periyava Sharanam.